it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review for Extraordinary Means by Schneider. So this book follows Lane, and Lane is about to go into his senior year of high school. He has a girlfriend, he's on the honor roll, he's the second highest in his class, and he is on track to go to Stanford. But all of that is kind of flipped upside down when he finds himself at Latham House, which is a sanatorium for teens with incurable TB. But in this sanatorium, he sees Sadie, who obviously also has incurable tuberculosis, and they actually went to a summer camp together back in the day, and he finds himself completely just enthralled by her and her aloof personality, and of course they end up falling in love, and with two sick kids falling in love, we all know it can never end well. The writing of this book was okay. It wasn't really anything spectacular. It's kind of hard when there are literally two bees having sex flying outside my window. So as I was saying before that happened, that was weird. The writing of this wasn't really anything spectacular. It didn't blow me away. It was just kind of average, and that's when having the writing portion of my reviews is kind of pointless, because there are some books where the writing is fantastic and I really want to talk about it. There aren't many books where the writing is so bad that I want to talk about it. I don't think there's really any that I've read like that. But then there's the ones, most of them fall in the middle, where it's nothing really spectacular. So this is one of those. The writing isn't bad by any means. It's good. It's just nothing that makes me say, wow, and there's nothing that, nothing really special that I have to tell you about it. The one thing though is I did find at times it was trying really hard to be kind of philosophical and quotable, kind of like Tifios. I found it was trying to do that, and I think the trying too hard was a little bit much at times. So overall, I gave the writing a 3 stars. As far as the characters go, I found Lane to be an interesting character. He was so driven with school, and then he kind of has his life turned upside down by his diagnosis, and I found it to be interesting that he still wanted to work at school and try to go to Stanford, and he was so kind of set on that this diagnosis really just completely messed with him and made him not really know what to do with his life anymore, because all his life he has been trying for Stanford, and now it's trying to get healthy, and he doesn't really know how to just take care of himself. I found his portions of the book, and by the way, this is written in dual perspective. I should have mentioned that before, but it's in dual perspective, so it alternates chapters between Lane and Sadie, and I did find that to be a really great aspect of the book. I think if it was just singular perspective, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But in his portions of the book, I felt like I didn't really get a lot of him. I wanted more of kind of his emotions and kind of a little bit more of a rawness to him, but I think that might be just a personal preference thing. Sadie and kind of her whole group of friends were very, very cliche, very much typical kind of John Green. These kids are awesome, you want to be them, they're nerdy, they're different, they're just really cool, and I'm just so tired of that cliche in all honesty. So I think that's why I didn't really like her that much. I just felt like I was like, okay, this has been done before, I've read this character a million times. I think I would have enjoyed it much more if her and her whole friend group weren't so cliche. I think it would have been a much better book, but I just felt like I had read it before, and that's a lot of the reason why I didn't really like it so much. That being said, I did find her character to be interesting because she was pretty self-observant, I guess. She knew why she was acting the way that she did in Latham House. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but I did find her character to be interesting in that respect. For the plot, I felt it was and many people have said this, and it is basically John Green's The Fault in Our Stars meets Looking for Alaska, and it's just, if they had a baby, this would be the very, inferior baby, I guess. I did find the setting of the TB sanatorium to be interesting, and all these teens having it, and I think the fact that it did focus on tuberculosis was interesting because you never really see that dealt with in kind of a literary fashion, at least I haven't. And I actually was surprised by the plot a lot of the time. It took a turn that I wasn't really expecting in one respect. In another respect, I was expecting it, but I think kind of how the whole story came to end, I wasn't expecting that. That being said though, I felt like a lot of the twists and turns were kind of abrupt and inexplicable and kind of like, I need a plot twist, so I'm gonna stick one here. I felt like that happened a lot and I didn't really like that. I just felt like it was kind of poor planning and making a story out of, like making kind of a longer story out of something that could have been a shorter story. And the romance to me felt very forced. I felt like it was just kind of a matter of convenience, like we knew each other before this and now we're here, so why not have a romantic connection? I didn't really believe it. I felt their connection to be kind of flimsy. I don't know, I think I just, And I think a lot of the reason why this book fell so flat for me, I guess it was a combination of things, but I think the main thing, other than the cliches, was the romance. I just didn't really believe it at all. So overall, I was pretty disappointed with this book, to be honest. I just felt like it was overdone, cliche. It was too much trying to make a story out of nothing and kind of just the trying aspect. I felt like if it was a shorter story or like a short story, it would have been really good, but I felt like it was just too much and it just didn't really flow well. And overall, I gave this book a 2.5 stars. So that's going to be all for today's review. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you have read this book, some of your thoughts on it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!